Of course, is going to be on how you pump water. This is the pump shack, and for the video purposes, I've just left it unlocked, but it's always locked. You don't want people coming in here and doing things they shouldn't. So, this is the pump house. This is the control for the pump. It will start the pump, and it will also control the CL, or the chlorine, chlorine applicator. And this is the meter from the well. And these are the gauges. Normally there are 32 on the left when operating and 42 on the right. And that's going in and coming out. This line is coming from the well, goes through the meter. This is the chlorinator. That blue line comes along here from the pump. So that's where the chlorine gets put in. And because it's put in like spray, and I'll show you on the chlorinator after, spray, it's not mixed properly. So it goes in here, and it comes through, and this is where you get the 42, and then it goes into the filtration system, and in through this one, and then out, and then this is where on the discharge is where you have around the 32 mark. And then it continues on, and goes down, and goes into the ground, into the distribution chamber. The distribution chamber is outside. You won't see it, but it's buried about 4 feet underground. The distribution chamber runs underground, and it goes to the hydrant, or the distribution hydrant. And once it gets to there, then it goes up the hill to the tanks. It's all one line. The water that leaves the well and goes through the filtration and goes through the distribution and then goes up to the tanks. Then it returns in the same line and comes down and then is distributed throughout the island, the lower island. So getting back to the pump house, you come in here, and I should have zeroed that yesterday. And every time I'm done pumping, I always return it to 0, and that's by using these up and down marks. As you can see here, there's down, and here's up. So, if I want to run 1,000 liters, I put the pump on 20 minutes. I usually put it on 21 just to make sure I round up, and I don't know why it's not. It's supposed to do 1,000 liters in 20 minutes, but for some reason, as the system ages and gets dirty, it's no longer that's no longer the case. So 21 minutes will give you 1,000 liters. Now, if I wanted to start the pump right now on my own, I would just have to hit RST. But if I don't touch anything, as you notice, it came on its own. In 1 minute, when you adjust these numbers, if you stop adjusting the numbers, a minute later, it will start pumping. So now it's pumping for 21 minutes, which will give me 1,000 liters. This is the CL pump, which is the chlorinator, and you watch it as it's going around. You know it's doing its job when there's a teardrop shape in that line. See that teardrop? That's a teardrop, and that means that it's got enough pressure on that hose to be chlorinating. So it's taking it, drawing it from here. This is my chlorine tank with a filter. You add chlorine to that, as long as it doesn't get below the filter, and it comes up here, goes through the chlorinator, into the line like I stated before, and down. So 20 minutes from now, I will have another 1,000 liters into the tank. And that is how you pump water from the well. Another thing should be noted is that this is the pump meter, and this is telling you what is coming from the well. So what I have to do is write the date. So what I have to do now is write the date, May the 5th. The time is 13:07. I put the pump on for 20 minutes. Then when I come back in 20 minutes, I write down the new meter number, and it should be 23,298.8. And I would write that down, keeping track of this. So now I know I did my back flush, so there's 2,000 liters on the filters, and at 19,000 liters is when I do another back flush. But after this 20 minutes is done, I'll only have another 1,000, so that'll be 3,000, which leaves me 16,000. And that's how you record and pump water. So now we're getting to the end of the run where we're pumping 1,000 liters. And at the end of 21 minutes, it will shut off automatically. And once it shuts off, of course, the pressure will drop, going into the filters and coming out of the filters. You hear a loud bang. And there it goes. And they start dropping. Of course, this is now powered down. The chlorinator is now shut down. And this is when you come and do a meter read. So the last three numbers are 988. Of course, we started at 78. So 23298.8. So we pumped 1,000 liters is what we wanted. So now we have 3,000 liters on the filters. And that is how you pump water on our system. Now, if you wanted to pump 2,000 liters, well, that would be 40 minutes. If you wanted to pump 3,000 liters, of course, well, then there's an hour. Because remember, every 20 minutes is 1,000 liters. So 3,000 is what you can pump per hour. I never pump more than 3,000 liters at a time because I want the well to return to static. In other words, I want the water to be replenished and replaced before I do another pump. So if I pump 3,000 liters, which I do in the summer, I will wait 10 minutes and then I'll pump another 3. It takes about 5 minutes, but I want to make sure that the well has gone back to static, which is back to level where it used to be. And that's how you pump water. So 20 minutes per 1,000. 60 minutes gives you 3,000. It should also be noted that we do cubic meters. In other words, we have 23,298.8 and we pumped from the 23,297, so it left us with a difference of 1, which equals 1,000. So anything on here is times 1,000. So 1 would be 1,000. 2 would be 2,000. 3, of course, would be 3,000. So that's how cubic meters work. So in other words, in that math, we've pumped 23,298.8 cubic meters, which translates over to 23,298,800 liters have been pumped since that meter's been installed. And that's what we're dealing with, cubic meters. So 1 times 1,000.